Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you and a warm welcome on behalf of NETAP for a webinar series called Apprenticeship Dialogue. Today, we all know India is a young economy, growing economy, but as we know, more than 54% of our population today falls under less than 25 years of age. Today, our GDP is at around 6%. We expect it goes to 15%. Today, we aspire to become a $5 trillion economy in next 5 to 6 years time. But when we talk about the milestone of becoming a $5 trillion economy in next 5 to 6 years time, we have a concern which is called skill deficit. Today, India need more than 200 million skilled manpower in next 4 to 5 years time, so that we can reach to a milestone of $5 billion economy. But there's a very interesting fact from ILO. Last year, there's a report from ILO, which states that India need to take this thing very seriously in terms of skill deficit. Otherwise, India is going to have 29 million skill deficit by 2030, which is going to impact Indian economy by $1.97 trillion. Therefore, I think we all agree and believe that apprenticeship can play a very important role in solving this problem for India. Skill deficit is not a problem only for government. Today is a problem for all establishment, whether it's small, medium, or large. Around 53% of enterprises today were unable to hire people because we don't have the skilled manpower with us. Today on International Youth Day, we have with us 4 eminent industry leaders who have been able to successfully implement Apprenticeship Act in the organizations for many years. Today, we're going to have a discussion with them, what are the best practices they have adopted, how they have been able to create the apprenticeship ecosystem in their organization, which have helped them to get the return on investment for the internal stakeholders. We are also going to spend some time on discussing about how digitalization actually helping the establishments and the organizations in terms of ease of doing apprenticeship. And we'll touch upon the reskilling part of it. As on that, apprenticeship doesn't allow reskilling, but as you know, most of our job roles or the roles are becoming obsolete. So how apprenticeship can play an important role in reskilling and preparing youth for future work, future skills. Then if time permits, then we'll also touch upon the degree apprenticeship, which is part of New Education Policy 2020. And then we're going to have, we'll take the recommendations and the input from all the 4 panelists with respect to what changes they look for, amendments they are looking for Apprenticeship Act, so that apprenticeship become a viable option, not only for the Indian youth, but also for the establishment organizations. So we'd like to start the discussion. I would like to introduce the panel today, which we have with us. Today we have Anil Shukla, who is Director HR for Schneider Electric. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you. Thank you, Dhriti.
Thank you. Then we have Rabhir Sainani, who is a CHRO of Centrum Microfinance. Welcome.
Thank you.
Then we have Saravanan V, who is heading HR in Kevin Care. Welcome, Saravanan.
Thank you, Dhriti.
Right. Then we have Pooja, who is a Vice President, GAPS India. She is with us today. Thank you so much, all of you, for taking out time for this discussion. I'm sure it will be going to be very fruitful discussions, as collectively it's a huge years of experience you guys have in implementing degree apprenticeship, in terms of implementing apprenticeship program. So Anil, I'd like to start with you. If you can let us know, the audience, what are best practices you guys have adopted in Schneider Electric. We all know Schneider have been deploying apprenticeship or implementing apprenticeship for ages now. How we have been able to create that apprenticeship ecosystem in different roles and different functions in Schneider, which have helped the internal stakeholders to get the kind of ROI which we expect from deploying apprentices. Over to you.
All right. Thank you, Dhriti. Before I jump into the technicalities, let me congratulate all the young team members and the young generations who are there logged in and who have a lot of expectations from this government, this country, this kind of a program which we are going to talk about, right? So with that, let me put it to make any program successful, it's not one way, or it's not a straight jacket method. Let me put it that way, because it's a combination of everybody. It's an individual, it's in society, it's a learning education system, as well as teachers, as well as industry, which is most important, where we represent. So looking at that, the philosophy of Schneider has always been that we need to invest more and more into a younger population. Why? Because the younger generation is the main generation where we focus on. We normally talk about people coming from remote areas, because they have a lot of resilience and they are quite creative, as well as younger generation is quite digital. We will talk about it later on, but why we need to focus on this is very clear from us, from the management side. Now, coming to how do we implement it, we know that the programs are, or the education system, or the theoretical program which they go through is not up to the mark, or it's not up to the standards. So what do we do is, when we hire people, we look at their learnability, their attitudes, and we hire them. We take them through a rigorous training program of 5 days. In that, we take them through whatever is required to be there on the job. Theoretical knowledge is imparted. Once they are out of that classroom, they go on the job training another 15 days. They are on the job and they are working under the supervision of the supervisor who is trained enough. So that's one thing which helped us in getting the most out of this young population. We are calling them a trade apprentices or NAP apprentices. That's one thing. And second thing is, we take them as a part of our ecosystem. We don't treat them as only trainees, right? So once they are there on the job, they have done it, they start producing products on the line, on the go, on the conveyor belt. And whenever they are doing something good, we do also celebrate their achievements. So that's how they don't think that they are just a trainee. Rather, they become a part of the whole ecosystem and they contribute. So these are the things which I would like to share what we are doing. There are multiple things, but we'll talk about it maybe in the next round. Yeah?
Sure. Ravi, if you can let the audience know what are the best practices you have been implementing to implement the Apprenticeship Act. You are from a finance background company. So what are the, maybe when you started, you have some obstacles with respect to the internal stakeholders. So if you can let us know how you have been doing this for the last 1.5 years.
Thank you, Dhriti. Before I move ahead, wishing everyone a happy International Youth Day. So I would like you to take through my experience that we have had. We started hiring apprentices roughly about a year back, and we have had a very positive experience. I am sure that you all are aware that there is a sharing of stipend with the employer with a maximum limit of 1,500 per apprentice per month, and a basic training cost up to 7,500 for 3 months per apprentice. As a result, being part of the support function, it certainly helps save cost. I belong to the microfinance industry, and we require to hire mostly freshers at the bottom of the pyramid. And in link with the NEPA's program, not only it serves our purpose of quick manpower, but also serves as a community initiative and in line with the Government of India's goal of reducing unemployment in India. I personally believe it's a win-win model to address supply and demand mismatch in skill development. Apprenticeship program help employer in recruiting and develop highly skilled workflows that helps grow their business, improve productivity, profitability, and employees' bottom line is secured. As an organization, we have seen considerably reduction in as far as attrition is concerned, and the performance has certainly improved. I am happy to share in a recently concluded sales contest, NAPS employees secured top spot across all regions. Just to add to what Anil said, they are definitely part of our ecosystem. Whether it is a Centrum microcredit employee or an NAPS employees, we do not differentiate. The kind of benefits that are provided to an employee, we give the same. Also, last point I would like to say that it also aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, point number 8 of decent work and economic growth. And as part of the NAPS scheme, we have offered employment for more than 130 freshers till date. Yeah.
Great. Just a query, so when you introduce the Apprenticeship Act to your organization, have you faced any challenge with respect to internal stakeholders? Because I'm sure your industry need experienced people, right? So getting a fresher and then putting them on the sales profile as an apprentice. So how are you able to convince the internal stakeholders?
I guess it was the other way around. The moment we put up this policy or this scheme to the management, I think that they were very pleased with it. The kind of background that we have, that is a microfinance industry, we serve the underserved or unserved. So we understand the kind of difficulties which are being faced, the kind of people that are recruited at the bottom of the pyramid for an organization like us come from mainly such kind of areas. So for us, as I said, it's a win-win situation. We are highly benefited. At the same point of time, we are saving cost for the organization.
Great. Makes sense. Thank you so much for the inputs and the respective best practices adopting apprenticeship in organization. Saravanan, I want to know how you have been able to, I think you have been doing apprenticeship for so many years now. So what are the best practices which organization have adopted in terms of creating that ecosystem inside the organization?
Sure, Dhriti. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting us, and congratulations on the International Youth Day for all the youths present and to all the people that's here who's attending this session as well. So, whilst both my eminent speaker has spoken, what we did is what difference what we made is we started hiring all the blue collars, all the bottom of the pyramid employees, only in NAPS. So that way, my entire ecosystem, as Mr. Anil and Rabhir has told, my entire ecosystem and make it ready was available. The employees' readiness was very, very available. So whomever we hire in the bottom line, we hire in the NAPS team, be there for about 1 year, and based on the performance, and then everybody will be converted to the on-road job. So it's been around some 2 years we've been hiring NAPS people, and as of now, it's around some close to 450 odd people are there across India, and in the entire span of company, there are around some 33% overall, both in our role as well as the other teams, including the team lead NAPS role as well. So where the law says it's only 15% which maximum we can hire. Over and above, we've exhausted, and then we wanted to, because we tasted a good quality employees. So we thought, okay, let us hire everybody in NAPS role, and then make sure we can able to get more qualified manpower. So that way we were having good number of skilled manpower availability was there. So that bridges the gap between the skilled and versus the non-skilled one. And as all of you are aware, the NAPS scheme is also providing the certificate as well as the reimbursement part. What else in the government is also taking their own initiative to help us. So this is the one initiative as an organization, as a company, we have decided that we will hire only blue collars or a bottom of the employees only in through NAPS, not in any other sources.
Great. So in the same question, do you face any challenge when you introduce the Apprenticeship Act, the internal stakeholders, or it's like a win-win situation and they're okay with it, or you have to convince them?
Yes, definitely we had, because we are a skilled industry. When you talk about the trends, the technology, the availability of the beautician or a hair and stylist or anybody for any sake, when you need a turner or for a manufacturing organization, the ready-made material was not available. So later we proposed to the management, told about the benefit what they'll be reaping out in after 1 year, and they were convinced. And the best part is what we did is, we initially created a training system, say that, okay, initial 3 months time, they will be under the guidance of one mentor where he will be teaching them what exactly need to be there. And as you're aware, the school studies or the college studies definitely not going to help. They will be only theoretical knowledge. Only when they are guided to a handholder, to a mentorship, even the senior people gets more responsibility. So that way I can able to have the leaders has been prepared for my next level, as well as the juniors is also coming and filling up their positions as well. So the initial 3 months time, what we done is as a project donor, or we name it as yearly once we change the name, and then we go along with the particular.
Great. I think it makes a lot of sense. We are input to the audience also. So Pooja, I like to put it the same point for discussion. I think you started Apprenticeship Act, I think 8 or 9 months back. So if you can let us know what is the experience, what are best practices you guys have adopted in terms of implementing Apprenticeship Act.
Yeah, thanks, Dheeraj. Actually, for us, we are into the ITES segment and a very, very human capital kind of an industry, very human capital intense industry. So we tend to recruit a lot of people during the year. We've seen an attrition of about 7 to 8% in a month, and that kind of keeps the human capital turnaround quite high for us. Getting into the Apprenticeship Program has helped us in two folds. One, as Rabhir said, that there is certain things that the government aids help as well, so that's cost effective. Secondly is also we've seen the attrition benefits to it. Okay, we have about 7% of our strength that is at any given point of time on the apprenticeship program. So if we are about 10,000 human capital organization, so that builds it about 800 to 900 people on the apprenticeship program at any given point of time. So it's a large population that we have on the apprenticeship program. Initially, where we were a little hesitant about that, how this will function, because it's a government body, and how will the payroll, and will it go smooth? Will it have certain hiccups, and will there be hiccups about putting in those people or admitting them into the NAPS program and all those things? But it's been really, really very smooth. We haven't seen those hiccups at all. It's been very smooth right from the day one. So that has also helped the organization quite a bit. Otherwise, a lot of organizations would have been hesitant, okay? Especially our organization, where we do a lot of recruitments every month, and we have a lot of people coming on the apprenticeship program also every month. It would have been another hassle. But it's completely hassle-free, and that kind of makes this program even better. In our program, we do have we have a huge training period. Okay, we have a training period of about 2 to 3 months. So as soon as the apprentice joins in, they go through certain amount of classroom training, and then there is a hybrid model where they have on-job training, and plus they keep coming back to the classrooms back and forth. Okay, so the program goes around for about 2 months of training, and then they go into the on-job for another month. And so we have our apprentice for the first 3 months at least on the NAPS program.
Great. I think there are 2 to 3 things which can be a takeaway from the first discussion, which we had the best practices. I think one is creating the talent pool for future for the organization, and second is I think the ROI part of it, the kind of ROI which you can get from deploying apprentices. I think that makes sense to all of us, right? So we'd like to take it forward with another important discussion related to digitalization. So Ravi, if you'd like to take it up to this point, how digitalization is helping or going to help in ease of doing apprenticeship, right? Today we have a theory part of it and we have a practical part of it, right? So what is your thought with all COVID coming, going and all those things, how you think digitalization can actually have an establishment to create that ecosystem or create that ease of doing apprenticeship?
Dhriti, I'm extremely sorry I missed you. My network connection is a little poor. Very sorry.
So we have been discussing this also, I think, a couple of weeks back. So what I want to put it forward to you is that how digitalization can help an organization in ease of doing apprenticeship, right? When you segregate the apprenticeship program, it is like theory where there's a classroom session, then we have the on-the-job training. So how your organization is working with respect to keeping this theory part digitally enabled to the apprentices? Can you hear me? No? I think Rabhir has some network issue. So I like to put this question or this thought to Anil. Anil, you have been, as you said, if you can let us know how your organization is using the digital platform in ease of doing apprenticeship program with respect to theory part of it and other things.
Yeah. So Dhriti, everybody knows now that digitization and digitalization, both things are going hand in hand. And in fact, it has advanced more than 4 to 5 years had it been no pandemic and now with pandemic, right? So we have done all creative ways of finding out our ways and means, because we have been producing. We are a manufacturing company, and manufacturing doesn't happen from work from home kind of a setup, right? But whatever, having said that, still there are ways and means of using digitalization. I would say it has brought the school, the RI classes, to the homes and to the rooms of the people. So that's how we have benefited. In fact, TeamLease is doing a fantastic job. Similarly, many other apprenticeship aggregators are doing it through online training programs. And that has also helped us in a way to get more time for, production time. Basically, people used to go for 1.5 days for the training. Now they are doing fully on production. They are there available for 5 days, and they are doing their classes on the 6th day. So that's how it has benefited. Now coming to other things, Prime Minister has done a lot of job on digitization. So apprenticeship itself is fully end-to-end, I think, digitized, because earlier we used to miss out a lot of things on applications, on getting accreditation, on getting the reimbursements. Everything is simplified. Neither you have to go to and stand in a queue to submit your APP4. Now everything is happening, online. So that's has eased a lot. But again, coming to my point, people have to learn on the floor, on the job. Theoretically, they can learn through digital ways, but there are many other things which we have implemented through virtual tours. Certain things which we can't do physically because you can't travel much. So we are also doing some specific things. For example, some digitization project is going on. We do it virtually for these people so that they understand, they learn, and then quickly adapt on the floor so that they become more agile. And because the whole program is learn while you are doing, you are earning, and that's the kind of a program has to happen, practically on the floor, on the ground. So restrictions are there, yes, you can't travel, but education and the learning is not stopped. Let me put it that way. So that's how we are using this platform digital. In fact, right now also, so many people are logged in. Had it been in a conference room, I don't know, half the population would have not come. So that's the beauty of digitization. Yeah.
So what are the adaptability part of it, right? You've been able to convince your apprentices to adopt the digital LMS part of it, right? Do you think the adaptability has increased, or is it a challenge because you're a manufacturing setup, right? Service sector is different, right? So do you think adaptability has increased, or you face challenge in getting the adaptability done part of it?
No, absolutely. We were quite adaptable. That's why I said that this generation, this young generation, doesn't need much of a convincing, right? And they are quite adaptable. And in fact, they are the front runners. Let me put it, the pyramid has become inverted, So these guys are the most creative ones, most adaptable ones, and most productive. Let me put it. So as Sarvana was saying, they had increased the limitations also. I don't know why the government has put so much of limitation, because there is so much of scope, and so many people are sitting outside. They don't have the opportunity. The industries who are doing it, they should be given a full scope and free hand, so that they can utilize the potential and make them future ready for the industry. Yeah.
So, Saravanan, what is your thought on this? How digitalization is helping your organization in terms of adaptability part of, and with respect to ease of doing apprenticeship?
Yes, so to talk about the digitalization, it starts from the induction program. So what we did is, merely, so we have recorded the induction. So earlier, how it works is, we used to call. Now, I am also from ITS background, call center background. I was with Polaris VP, where I need to do the induction for about 100 people who are joining. As Ms. Pooja said, the attrition percentage was little higher, because per week we used to hire around some 100 employees, or at least 60 to 70 employees. And the same way, the induction part or the on-the-job training program, product and process training program will also take time, same way, right? So we used to need to be there for a manual, do a presentations, all those things done. Every week you have a man hours spent only on the induction program. Now it is all changed, right? So I talk to a computer and then recorded the version and then simply send it across to all the places wherever the people join. We have our own portal where they log in across, they click off a button, they get their induction part ready. That's it. So I would have spent around some 3 hours or 4 hours maximum to describe it in a better way. So that's one biggest part, which the entire man hour of a particular person is saved. So that way, the SOPs is also developed. See, since now I'm in the industry of beauty and wellness, where the SOPs are majorly playing a vital role in terms of following the SOPs is vital. As per the recent government instruction as well, any salon or any spa should also have the circulated SOPs to be followed. And before itself, as a company, we have a limited or we have a huge SOPs to be followed across, because we don't put manpower without giving them for about 15 days of training. Now the SOPs are done, and there is a video SOPs also been done. And I should thank Mr. CK Ranganathan, my managing director here, because he is the one person who always insists on the digitalization, whoever it may be. Now we are now we are coming out with the virtual supervisor. Right, there's no team leaders required. Now we are coming out with the virtual supervisor is what our concept is. Next thing is we are going to go to the next level of an employee knows his productivity, how much he has worked, and how much is the billing, what is his incentive, everything. That's a kind of an employee we are just coming out across. So likewise, the SOPs also been video recorded, and all the employees has been given to the same link, and the employee get benefited. That saves the time of the particular thing. And as Mr. Anil said, a lot of training programs has been conducted via the digital way, right? As Mr. Anil said, if at all in the manual presence, definitely half of them would have not come. And if it is this way, people will at least start hearing what the other person wants to talk about or expresses. So that way, the digitalization is playing a vital role, and we are becoming more and more part of the digitalization. And I just wanted to share one particular thing, because we used to recruit people with 8th pass, 6th pass, because that's where the people go for the haircut, and then they become as a beautician or with this thing. Our education background of these children is very, very less. We were earlier we start about this induction program, online SOP on video recording, everything. We were fumbling whether these people can able to operate mobile or something like that. But as Mr. Anil said, the pyramid has been changed. They are little more senior than adapting with the technologies. We are little at the back end. So that one example I would like to share.
Great. So with respect to the apprentices, what do you think about the adaptability is the same?
Yes, of course. It's not about the youth. the current youth are very, very adaptability to the digital or the mobile or the technology, whatever it may say. They are very, very adaptive and they know things.
Great. Thanks. Pooja, what is your thought? How your organization is utilizing the digitalization part of it in terms of the theory and all those things with respect to apprenticeship?
One way is to always, we have always been recruiting graduates, okay? Ours is a slightly niche domain that we work out of, and we take only pharma graduates and all. So we did not have chances in terms of how will these graduates manage and all, because as Anil and Saravanan both said, they're far ahead, in terms of technology. The youth is far, far ahead of it. So moving to digitalization wasn't a challenge at all. For us, we've liked the entire program because it gives organizations empowerment to drive their own training programs through this, and we could imbibe our training programs in the apprenticeship program and digitalize those as well. So that's kind of helped us multifolds. Okay, so moving initially just only doing classrooms and running all those programs, we were always doing it, but moving it into digital also has not been a challenge at all, because the youth, I think the current youth is quite savvy. They have no problems about adopting to the newer technology and all. So in the apprentice, the graduates that come in the apprentice also, they're pretty savvy about the entire platform and digitalization. So that's been our experience.
Ravi, I think you were there. So if you can give your input, I think we have been discussing this part of it 2 weeks back also. So if you can let know what is your input or what is your thought with respect to digitalization, with respect to ease of doing apprenticeship.
Sure. First of all, apologies, I got disconnected. And as far as digitalization is concerned, as Sarvana said, we have created our own application. It's called a Centrum Udan, and the entire training or the LMS bit of it is tracked through that. Your induction bit of it, OJT, buddy system, or on the other side, if you say even e-recruitment, where a person has to send in their documents, KYC before they're joining. I guess youth is very much agile and adapted to it. We haven't had a lot of problems at all. I mean, they are for them, understanding is not an issue. Plus, we have created content in different languages for them to understand. So yes, if you see the earlier induction was spread across 2 days, where they were undergoing 4 sessions. The same has been converted into say about a 3.5 to 4 hour session as far as the application is concerned. There is certainly a reduction in man hours. Productivity has increased, and overall, from a company perspective, it has certainly worked. There is we're saving a lot of time, and at the same point of time, you are there with them.
Great. So I think we go to the next point.
I think before going to the next question, I would like to add one more thing. So all this time we were spoken about the company experience. I think the government has also made a good effort in terms of making the digitalization, in terms of the NETAP program, or the whatever you say. Right now there are some 64 trades are there in the under the NETAP scheme. So if you go to any of the government offices, I stay in Chennai, so I usually visit for any other doubt with the NAPS this National Apprenticeship Scheme called the office. You should definitely say that no need not to come, you can just do it on the way, right? And the level of software, the level of the background, or the level of the system, all the users will also upgraded. The servers, everything has been changed, and the digitalization is, you can able to see that, because handling one company employees of 2,000 employees is not a big deal. But when you handle a state employees, NAPS, number of employees, enrollment, and then, number of people who enrolled, it will be lakhs and lakhs and crores and crores, So that details, that data's handling is the far better than the digitization, what the government has also shown to us. So I thought I'll just pop.
Yeah, definitely. Even I also agree with the merger of both the portals today at the unified portal. I think with a click of a button, just figure out how much is it
exactly
registered. I think that is a good initiative, and it's working well for the industry and for the stakeholders also. So I'd like to take it forward. Anil, I think this is what we have been discussing yesterday. Also, we had a discussion about reskilling and preparing youth for future skills, right? As you know, most of our job roles are becoming obsolete, right? With the change in business dynamics. So what is your thought, how apprenticeship can add value or make the establishment way by which through the apprenticeship program can we create future ready workforce for future skills? Because as on that apprenticeship doesn't allow reskilling, but just a thought how we can work out apprenticeship as a way by which we can do reskilling, upskilling, and we can prepare youth for future skills.
Right. So thanks. I think that's a very pertinent question, and many people are looking forward towards it. The best thing in apprenticeship, in fact, I would say is the practical way is the best way of learning, right? So that's the answer to this problem. And I would compare it not even in apprenticeship, it's for every field. None of the fields are updated because things are working, things are changing in such a fast pace that nobody is able to catch up. If you're doing certain things, that's an obsolete. It's just like a moving train, Yes, you are in a train and you're taking a picture. That picture doesn't remain the same. So it's happening in a digital world or digital economy. So what I would say is the sandwiching kind of a course is always better because you just give them some kind of a theoretical. I would say the government should also keep upgrading it. It should be on the go. It should be digitized. Don't print any books for that. Just keep it upgrading. Whatever is happening in the new technologies are coming. IIoT is coming. Business intelligence is coming. Robotics are there. But our ITI guys are having no clue about it when we hire them. So it's of no use. Let me not talk about ITI, even if for the graduates, engineering graduates, their C, C++ is all outdated, right? So education and industry has to catch up. In fact, industry itself is grappling with that because other industries are catching up, new technologies are coming. And if you're not digital, you're finished. So there's no question about it that, you don't have to change. Now, coming to your question, what you said is the best way would be what we are doing right now, right? It's more of a sandwich. You give them a little bit of theoretical knowledge that helps them to understand those technical parlance so that they talk about a negative, positive, capacitors and all those stuff. So it's a base. And what they need to do, what they need to learn, they will learn only when they are on the Gemba, when they are looking at things, when they know how it gets applied. And that's the best way of, I think, of the apprenticeship program itself. And that is far, far better than a normal education system. Let me put it that way, 10th class, 12th class, doing graduation in chemistry honors or zoology honors. What are you going to do in the industry? So you are going to do in the industry only if you are 100% equipped. And it's just like, if just take an example, there are people who have passed ITIs of 50% or 60% of scores. We hire everybody. We don't expect that they will know 100%. But if you see the same analogy in a construction industry or somewhere, you can't do it 50% or 60% of construction, right? So the mindset has to be 100%. And it will never happen in a theoretical way of learning. So that happens only when you are on the floor, you're working with your hands on, especially the skill gets, and you learn the skills. The learnability of skills are not so, the learning curve is not so high. Let me put it on an average, it should not be more than 5 to 10 days, right? But the productivity is quite high if you are learning while doing, and that gives an interest to the individual also, rather than sitting in a classroom, doesn't understand any concepts, coming to the shop floor, and they are not employable after graduation, and wasting those 3-4 years in a classroom. So these are the things which I think in the apprenticeship, the scheme itself is perfect. The quality has to be improved in terms of imparting theoretical training, and rest all, I think, practically on the floor. It's a responsibility of an industry. If you want, because industry is selfish. They need more productive people and more skilled manpower. So that's how it's working, and I think it should go in the same way, right? So
Right. Sure.
yeah.
So, Saravanan, coming back to you, I think the same thought process. Do you think apprenticeship will play important role in India's reskilling or preparing youth for future skills?
To my view is in a different way. Say, I think the reskilling and the what do you call, the preparing youth for the future skills it should be the responsibility of the employer. That's what I feel, because the government can able to give you the space for making the a fresher to become as the employable, right? They can able to ask the employers, ask the companies, or ask the industries to give them a training for about a year's time, and then from there they should able to pick it up. And I see it's a responsibility of the individual as well as the company to make sure to improve or to take the person from the level 1 to the level 2, because I may be good at one level, right? That's my first level. Government can able to help in that way. And the second level, to go to my second level, I cannot depend upon the government to push me to the second level. I think the reskilling should be the part of myself, where I show the productivity to the management, or I show my interest towards a particular work, what I'm doing to the company as well. And it's company's responsibility who are the reskilling should be reskilling should be given to the needy people wherever it is necessary. That's how I see the reskilling. I don't see government interfering, giving it across one more slot to the person, because they have lakhs and lakhs of people coming out every year. They should also take care of them as well.
Yeah, interesting thought. Right. So I think I quickly take it up the same thing with Rabhir. Rabhir, what is your thought with respect to reskilling, where apprenticeship can be related to reskilling and maybe an option given for establishments and the apprenticeship?
I feel the best age for the youth to learn is at their prime time. The sponge in all the training and learning provided to perform to the best of their ability. Decent work, a universal aspiration, is the best path for self-advancement. So gaining work experience as a fresher even may help them sprout out entrepreneurship ideas and serve as a stepping stone in their career. Providing job opportunities for freshers, it's important. At the same point of time, as an organization, it is important to nurture their talent, which, as you know, at this point of time is missing. And so we need to look more towards it.
Yeah. Right. So Pooja, what is your thought on linking reskilling with the Apprenticeship Act? Does it make sense for you as an establishment or as an industry, because it's from different industry? Right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because see, a graduation program in even now prepares the youth or prepares the freshers to certain programs only. Okay, you can take BFM, you can take accounting, you can take pharmacy, you can take. There's still a certain set of things that you can take. It does not prepare you completely for the job. The apprenticeship program today definitely covers a lot of skills that's preparing the youth for it. But I think there is a possibility of broadening that base. okay? Because there's still a lot of industries that are not getting covered under those skills, and those skills can be integrated in the program. Certain skills that definitely, so like, in our context, we have about 10,000 as a human capital, but I'm only taking about 7% of the population into this program. Whereas, if the skills are broadened up or the reskilling is happening, I may be able to broaden this population further. I may be able to take this up to 10% or 12% of the entire size, okay? Because at any given point of time, we do have the rest of the people also joining as experienced guys and all. And we do have a population that is newly joining the organization, which is about 20%, okay? I'm not able to take up the rest of them because it's not a part of the apprenticeship program. So if we have more skills that are a part of this program, it would really help.
Okay, makes sense. I think I totally agree with you on this point. We need to broaden the skilling part of it, reskilling part of it, where we can have more job roles, or we can make a hybrid job role kind of a curriculum for establishments. So we'll go to the next part now. I think, as you know, the new education policy talks about the degree apprenticeship, right? Where a person who is like 12 pass or ITI or diploma holder can join an organization where he do the apprenticeship program, which is blended with a degree. So he do the on-the-job training part of it, and then in a 3 years time, he gets a degree along with the hands-on experience. So Anil, what is your thought? Do you think it will make a lot of sense for establishment where the organization get 3 years time to evaluate the apprentice, and he get also an opportunity to self-sponsor his education and he become a graduate along with the hands-on experience?
In fact, that's the fantastic thing. That's what I was talking about in the previous session. It's more of practical exposure, and you are getting into a graduation. You are earning at that moment. You are not a liability to the society. You are not having any debt on educations. What better you can demand for, right? And I think there was earlier some scheme called NEEM and something. There are a lot of challenges on that just for the compliance side. If this scheme works well, and this will work, in fact, much better way, because you will have the stability. Let me put it, the stability is a problem for any industry. As Pooja was talking about 7% attrition, it means more than 70-80% in a year, right? So if you don't have a stability, you will not have productivity. You will not have the consistency, and the youth has to understand, because since youth would be hanging on this, I would say that anybody, if they want to see and grow, they need to have stability of minimum 3 years for any job or any role. Because I'm not only talking about the apprentices, for any roles, because 1 year you spend in learning, second year you perform, third year you see what you have performed, whether it is working well or not working well. So that's how you grow your own sort of learning and the algorithms for your future, right? So there has to be a stability, and 3 years of program. If they are earning a graduate degree, they'll earn a good name in the society and respect in the society as well, because the mindset has also to change. People talk about apprenticeship, it's not looked upon very well. So that mindset has to change, because in Germany, it's 100 years they have been doing it. And it's such a matured system. In my previous organization, I was in a German company, and they were having a dual apprenticeship, and they used to, in fact, love it, and they used to implement it with the full respect, because they have so many courses in apprenticeship, in plumbing, in mechanics, everything. They have courses, and they have respect towards that courses. So this graduation program, I would say, it's a good step, and looking forward to that kind of our industry would be quite happy to take up such kind of people.
Sure. Thanks, Anil. So, Saravanan, what is your thought on degree apprenticeship? Right?
It's a very welcome note, or welcome thing from our side as well, because all the industry players will definitely vouch for it as well. because earlier, as Mr. Anil said, there's a process called the NEEM program was there, that was ideally used, broken, and then they were withheld letters. But now this degree apprenticeship program, which since it is a new thing, which we also wanted to try our hands and then get dirt and to understand more. But I see, as Mr. Anil said, it'll create more number of stable employees in the organization, right? So because right now the people are little scared, in case they wanted to go for education, they cannot work, or they want to work, they cannot go, they cannot have the education. I think this program will give a sandwich kind of program and sandwich kind of thing, and it's going to be a good hit into the market as well, because as an individual, I will also get my degree after 3 years, and I am not a burden to the society or to my parents or to my family or anybody else, right? Because I earn, as rightly Mr. Anil rightly said. So there's no burden for anybody. I'm not a burden for anybody, because I'm moreover in the 3 years time, I'm also getting it right. And in the 3 years time, for any kind of work what we do, first year learning, second year and third year, 3 years only you will be able to get hands hold on, and then improvisation will come only after 2 years, 3 years only. Because whatever I do, the process improvement can be done only after 2 years. It cannot be done before that.
True, very true.
Yeah.
So Pooja, as you said, you hire graduates, right? So do you think the degree apprenticeship can actually work out in such a way you started hiring maybe a non-graduate guy, and then you put him for 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, this graduation program will help us immensely, okay? Because today we restricted about taking only grads, and that would allow us to take undergrads as well, put them into a 3-year kind of a program or 2-year kind of program, whatever is the norm. And at the end of the day, those guys will benefit because they'll get a certificate at the end of the day. They will become graduates. And I mean, today there are a lot of people who have to work and leave their education, or they don't have the right inclination to the general education that is there, and maybe a skill kind of a job will help them get the degree. And if they can get a degree in the job they are good at, it will help the attrition. And I second Anil completely on it. Attrition really kills, okay? If we take undergrads and give them a graduation certificate because they got trained with us, because they've stayed put with us for 3 years, they've completed certain educational part with us, it will immensely help in attrition. It will immensely help in the resource pool, broadening the resource pool as well for us. And it's a win-win for the society, for the organization, and everybody, I think.
Yeah, makes sense, right? I agree with your point. So Ravi, finally, what is your thought? Because the kind of hiring you do, I think, bottom of the pyramid. So do you think degree apprenticeship make more sense with the stickiness part of it?
I think so, definitely. We hire candidates who have cleared their 10th or 12th, and we are in a process of looking at people who have not got an opportunity to even complete their 10th. I think so. This is the model to go for. It's a win-win situation from an organization perspective and the candidate. So a candidate can learn, work, earn, and grow at the same time. It will definitely it will increase employee stickiness and employee productivity. From an individual perspective, I think so he can support the family and work at the same time. It is helpful for the society as whole. And as Pooja clearly said, there are a lot of people who have to quit in between to quit education to support their family. It will work very well for them as well.
Sure, I agree with you. Great. So I think we'll go to the last part of our discussions, where I request all of you, maybe I'll start with Saravanan. What is your input, or what is your suggestion with respect to any amendments or any suggestion you looking forward in terms of like Apprenticeship Act, any amendments, anything which you think makes sense? Because team leads have been in advocacy part of it with respect to apprenticeship for many years now, right? So maybe some input from your side which you think will help to make apprenticeship more ease of doing. Today, a lot of organizations, they don't want to take apprenticeship because there is a hassle and all those things. So just a thought, maybe a couple of points from your side, which you can pass on to the respective ministry or the concerned departments.
I would like to increase the percentage of the NAPs to an organization. It should not be restricted to 15 or 18. It should be because I would like to increase it to, I would recommend it to increase to 25% because ideally the new generation has to come in across, right? This is where we can, as an organization, as a HR team or a management, we can able to pump in the new freshers in the category, because I don't know how many organizations will be open enough to take freshers. But when you have the credibility, when you have the other parts, reimbursement parts are coming across, people definitely management will be thinking one more time. And if the number is restricted to 15%, then ideally, we don't have much of a thing, right? So ideally, I would recommend we can increase to 25 or at least 20% is what I'm just looking at. And the second thing is that the reimbursement part by the government side is very, very, it's very, the processing is not happening in this way. So we as a HR team, we take a lot of convincing skills and then talk to our management, convince our management. When the reimbursement is not happening on the time, the other side of within our own department, the finance team will bounce back and say, boss, what you committed, what is not coming across, right? So that way, the reimbursements part can be also taken care. The smooth initial reimbursement can be also taken across, and the grades, as Mr. Anil, Pooja, and Rabhir has said, we can also increase the number of grades. Now it is around some 64 grades are there. 64 topics they can able to cover. So it can be increased to all the levels as well. Maybe in the initial grade itself, we can have the scale grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 as well, right? So if I'm a plumber, I can able to basic training, intermediate, or a superior, or the super training. Maybe I can have 3 kinds of things, so that our reskilling will also can be brought in there. So that's my 3 points which I thought.
Surely, I think the quota part of it is like you are saying that maybe it increased to 20-25%, then streamlining the NAFs claims part of it, and the more options in terms of the curriculums should be. Yes. So Anil, what are the inputs, or what are the points you want to put it forward with respect to any amendments or anything you feel need to be changed in Apprenticeship Act?
I have already mentioned certain things. I back Saravanan 100%, because these are the 2 things which people are grappling with. One is, increasing the numbers, because you see there is a huge, what is the use of this act? Basically, 1961, this act was made, right? It has to be amended in a proper way, because that time population was different, industry was different. Now it is down the line, how many years? More than 60, 70 years now, right? So look at that, revamp it, and as I said earlier, let's make it an updated course, little bit of course, and more of a practical knowledge of the industry, because where they are going to make their career, let them go there and learn. Give them a direction. Even if you're not giving a reimbursement, let it be, because nobody wants to spend money, basically, neither the individuals, neither the government. So let the industry sponsor it, because they are utilizing them. That could be also possible, because of the restriction is because of reimbursements. They don't have coffers. These are all some common sense, but want to make it more common practice as a government, rather than putting it as a stringent law and just policing it, rather than make it more easy. Governance should be easier, and solve the problems. The problem is skilled manpower on the floor.
True.
So how do we do that? Use all your ways, because you have to upgrade your teachers in your ITIs. There are too many things to be done, but make it digitized. As Saravanan and other people said, you don't need 100 teachers in 100 ITIs. Make it centralized, right? Like different governments are doing it. In Tunisia, I was just reading a newspaper. Tunisia government was doing something like centrally they were having some good teachers and they were training people on the remote areas. Why do you need the content developers should be at the central and at the local level, those maybe lower grade teachers can take care of things, right? That's how these things will be improved, right?
Yeah, true. So Pooja, what are your recommendations with respect to any change you look forward for, which you can pass on to the concerned department ministries?
See, I feel, one is publicizing this program quite a bit. And I second Anil when he says that it should not be, a policing kind of an act. Rather, it should be publicized more. There has to be respect for this program. In our country, what happens is apprentices are looked down up to. They did not have that kind of respect. One, I feel the graduation may add up that part, getting them to an equal play. But at the same time, publicizing, saying that, being an apprentice, learning the skill and being trained on a skill is not bad. Today, we have a challenge as an industry. We face a challenge of recruiting youth itself. Okay, people don't want to come to an ITES industry because that's not looked upon like a very high-flying job and all.
True.
So, if it's publicized from the government that coming into an apprenticeship program will get you a graduation certificate and being trained into a skill is great. That kind of a thing will help quite a bit, and adding skills to this program. Okay, today there's, as I said, it's about limited skills, about 64 and odd, but the quantum is immense. You can just add up more skills to this program. That's what I would expect from the government.
Right. Now you finally talk to you. What are your recommendations or inputs?
So to add to what everybody has said, I think so. Although it is compulsory for all organizations to recruit at least 2.5% of apprentice, I think so that is not happening. That is not a lot of people are even aware. Now we have these MFin fraternity where I speak to other HRs, and not a lot of them are even aware that there is a practice as such. And also, I feel there is a myth that it's a hassle to recruit a NAPS candidate or an employee. I think so. It's not. It's pretty easy and it's pretty simple. Just to add, my bottom of the pyramid or the front force is 50% of my total manpower. And if you're saying that there's a quota of 15%, I think so that should be certainly looked at. I think so 15 can be made 25, 30 or even more. Because for an industry like us, it will certainly help us. And last thing, there is huge delay in claims. As Saravanan said, there is financing which is constantly chasing you. It's been over a year, but we haven't received even a single claim. So yeah, that is what we are looking at.
Sure. I think we have.
I just wanted to add one more point. I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah. As Ms. Pooja said, rightly said, this publicity is main for all the especially the apprenticeship program to all the companies as well, to the employer as well as to the candidates as well. And I am looking one more help from the government is with regard to the sourcing of candidates, right? Because as a recruiter, you see, my entire team, if you see my last organization, I was with TVS Logistics, where we recruit around some 500 employees in a month, 500 employees in a month at blue collar. For recruiting these, I had around some 10 of them in my team, where they'll be only in the field recruitment. When we go and tap all those people, when you go on the field recruitment, talking to the local politician, to the local village officer or who it may be, the mobilization of manpower looks very challenging for us when you call, right? The same way, if in a government, that particular district BO or district officer can take a lead and then organize this kind of thing, I think Anil would be vouching the same, because any manufacturing industry definitely need the blue collar, and blue collar will always have a tremendous challenge in terms of recruiting because their attitude is very different, right? So I feel a push from the government in terms of organizing, or organizing means anyway you can conduct a job fair or
maybe publish the list of opportunities available in their own district with regard to the company as well, and that gives more leverage in going and talking to the people as well, because that will obviously create the openness in the team, saying that okay, government is also creating the openness in that. So the sourcing of candidates definitely plays a vital role in terms of hiring the OEMs as well as like TVS Logistics, kind of the service-oriented company as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think we had a great discussion, great inputs from all of you. I think I'm sure the audience must have got an insight with respect to best practices which have been done from your side in terms of implementing apprenticeship program, the digitalization part of it, even the degree connectivity part of it, right? Sure. We quickly, I think we are overshoot the time. I just take 2 questions quickly, then we can. So there's a question of maybe Anil, if we can. Do you see any glory the word apprenticeship? So again, I think what we discuss is that today apprenticeship or apprentices are not taken with that kind of pride. I think if we attach it with a degree program, I think, or this kind of a certification program, I think that will make sense.
Yes, definitely, because it's basically a mindset. People have not understood this program properly. They think that those who are not able to make it to graduation, they go for this kind of.
Correct.
Rather, they should show that those people are not dependent on the parents. Show them, publicize them, and share that those kind of people are doing much better in the industry. If you see 10 years of lifelong thing, a normal graduate is not at all employable. By that time, the guy has already recovered his whole education's money which his parents have spent, or her parents have spent. So those are the things which are self-confidence, which builds the self-confidence. That gives the a good status in the society. It should be more publicized. That's one, and it has to be branded better. I think it's not done in that fashion.
Sure. I think we'd like to conclude this discussion, and thank you so much once again for taking out time for this particular webinar. Looking forward for more inputs from your side. We'll be in touch. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhriti. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Rabhir. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Saravanan.